guys, this is Angela Galloway, and I am just going to do a video to show you how to navigate our Blackboard and our MyLabs page. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always email me. But now that our Blackboard page is open, you can start looking around, finding our syllabus, looking at due dates and all that, and then also getting started on your homework now that it's available. All right, so first I'm going to start off with our Blackboard page. So in Blackboard, you'll see that you would just click on our class, right, and it should take you to this page. So right now I'm in the student mode, so this should be similar to what you would see. At the very top, I'll keep these due dates up there so you can see them anytime you log in. So we've got our very first due date is going to be this coming Thursday next week, which is the Blackboard syllabus quiz. That's very important because you have to complete that to stay in the class. So that's how we figure out who is a no-show, who's decided not to take the class. So if you do not complete that, you are dropped from the class. So if you have any issues submitting it or whatever by that date, please let me know. And then May 24th is going to be when our first assignments are due in MyStatLab. All right, so this will be at the top. Underneath there, I'll have announcements that I make throughout the week. So we're meeting for 5 weeks, right, in this first summer session. So I'll try to at least send an announcement every week, but I may do more than one a week, but I will try to at least do one announcement a week. When I make an announcement on Blackboard, it'll post there, but then I'll also send you an email so you can see it either place. But that's what the announcements would be here. If you want to see the syllabus, you could just click here. This is our syllabus that you can look through. And then this is our schedule, which just tells you what you should be working on week to week, and also has the due dates on there, etc. If you go to the Start Here tab, that's where you're going to find the information that you want for the course. So the online learning, if you haven't ever taken an online class, this would be a good place to start. But if you have, then you can go straight to the Welcome to this class, which has stuff that just pertains to our class. So some information there about me. Here's our syllabus and schedule again. We like to post it in as many places as possible just to make sure that students can find it. This gives a little information about our e-textbook that we will use. If you didn't know, as a KCTCS student, you do have or should have free access to Microsoft Office. So if you don't have that on your home computer, you can download it for free. And this is just a little information about how to do that. Specifically for our class, Excel can be helpful. That is one option that you're allowed to use to do calculations. So if you want to have that on your computer, you can watch this short little video about how to do that. And then just some other information here that you might need to know as you go through the course. But at the very bottom, it talks about the first assignment. And the first assignment that you're going to do is that syllabus quiz. And so it will be linked also in this spot. I don't see it right now, but I probably just need to make it available. And so you'll be able to click on that and complete it. You'll need to make 100% to be able to continue on in the class, and they're all going to be questions just based on the syllabus. All right, so you can always go to that Start Here tab. That has pretty much all the information you would need for the class. All right, the instructor info, here's some information about me, how to get in contact with me. Mainly email is what you need to use because it is summertime. Starting next week, I actually won't have any office hours, but I can always be reached via email. If you call my phone, my work phone, then if you leave a message, it will come to my email as well. So either one is okay, but I prefer email for the quickest response. Then we've got the stuff that's going to help you in our class, the chapter notes and the videos. These are the formulas that you might want to use throughout the semester, but you can take them to the final exam, but you do have to print out your own copy, so make sure you print that out. If you want to go ahead and print it so you can have it as you're working on homework, that's great, but do remember to print for the final exam. You'll definitely want to have those. They are mainly just the charts and formulas that are given in the book, but then I also have a few tips about where to go for different calculator functions, so it can be helpful for that. I have everything kind of divided by unit. So we have 5 units in the class, which is 10 chapters. So there's 2 chapters per unit. And so what I've got in here is I've got links to the notes and then also a lecture video. So the notes are just what I would give out in a lecture class, you know, so you could see what we would be covering in the book. The lecture video just goes through the notes and I kind of work out the problems on there. So I try to answer things as I go through there, and also I'll have the calculator up when it's needed, or go to Excel or StatCrunch and show you how to do it in there. All right, so most students find these pretty useful so that they don't kind of feel like they're going through the course on their own. So this is pretty much what you would get if you're in my lecture class, except that you don't see me face to face twice a week, but you do get to hear me go through the notes. So this is probably sufficient for learning all the stuff in the class. I mean, you can also use the e-textbook, and you can use some other options that we have in MyStatLab. But for the most part, if you look through the notes or watch the lecture video, that's going to help you get through the course just fine. So that would be all the units there. This right here is just a direct link to all my lecture videos. So I have a YouTube page here, and this has all the videos on it. Now they're kind of in a different orders there, but I've been working on creating playlists so you can see them by unit. So as you can see, at least today, I've just got Unit 1 and Unit 2. But like if you would click on there, I don't want to hear it right now, but it would have all these different ones up here that have to do with Chapter 1 or 2. So that's what I'm trying to work on. Hopefully by the end of the semester I'll have these, you know, all set up so you can just go to the different playlists for Unit 1, Unit 2, and then have everything that you might need. All right, but that is where just the main page is if you want to go straight to the YouTube stuff. Now, Khan Academy is a free resource that will help you with different math topics. Specifically is what they kind of focus on. So if you have something that maybe my information is not helping you with, you know, feel free to go there and see if they have some other explanations that might be more helpful. Okay, so that's most of Blackboard. We don't use Blackboard for actual assignments except for the syllabus quiz, and also don't use it for the grade book because all our grades will be in MyStatLab. So what we use Blackboard for in this course is mainly just announcements and a place to hold the notes and the syllabus. All right, where we're going to go for most of our assignments is in MyStatLab. Okay, so if you go over here to MyStatLab login and click on that, it's going to take you to our course in MyStatLab. And so unfortunately this doesn't have a student view, so any of these that have the little X on them you won't see in your course, but yours will look something like this. Over here you can see all the different units, and so that's where your homework is. So if you click on like Unit 1 and it says that's Chapter 1 and 2, it's going to give you a little information about what we're going to cover. These will take you directly to the e-textbook. So if you click on this and you want to start by reading through the chapter or reading through the section, you can do that. And once you read through it, you can highlight, you can print pages. If there's maybe a good example that you want to reference, you can do any of that just like you would a regular book. Let me see why that's not working here. I'll see if I can get it to open. It did open earlier, so I don't know. There it goes. So when it's opening the e-textbook, it does sometimes take a minute just because there's a lot to load, right? It's loading our huge textbook onto here. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but you can click from here to go straight into the textbook. This is probably what you'll want is, you know, what are my homework and quizzes, right? So this is going to have all the homework and quizzes and the test for Unit 1. So you can see we have a few homeworks for each section. And then we've got a quiz at the end of every chapter and a test at the end of every unit. So every 2 chapters you will have a unit test. You can see over here what the time limit is if there is one. Homeworks have no time limit, so you can work on them, you know, for hours at a time if you want to. But quizzes do have a time limit, so you need to start and finish it within 70 minutes. But they do have 3 attempts, so you can work on it just once if you want to, or you can do it up to 3 times. Just the highest score will count, so whatever your highest score is, that's what actually will be recorded in your grade book. Now, if you've never done anything in MyMathLab or any of the my labs before, then I'll just kind of show you real quick kind of what it would look like. So when you click on the homework, this will show you all the questions that you have. Now, at the beginning, in the first chapter, a lot of these are going to be multiple choice, true, false kind of things. Not a lot of calculations yet. But like here, so it says a sample of professors is selected and it is found that 65% own a television. So we want to determine whether it's a statistic or a parameter. So this is going to be a statistic because it's coming from the sample. But let's say we chose the wrong one. Okay, so it'd say that's not correct. Right? So then you can try it again. Let's say we get this and we get it wrong again, then it's going to tell you, you know, what would be the right one. And so you can go on to the next question, or you can click similar question, and then that is how you can end up getting 100% on your homework, right? So I could go back here and try another one that's like it, okay, and I think this is exactly the same. I mean the same type. This is still going to be, well no, this says is in a study of all the employees, so that means it's going to be a population. So this will be a parameter because it's from the population. We'll check that, and then it says fantastic. So we did that one correctly. So if we look up here on the homework, we can see that we got this one correct, which is what that green check mark means. If you got it incorrect, it would be a red X. And so then as you navigate through here, you can choose the ones that you want to work on. If you're trying to improve your homework score, you can go back in here and see, you know, which one do I have a red X on, or which one do I have a green check on, etc. Over here is the question help. So the question help, you have a help me solve this, which will help you actually solve the problem that you have. It'll take you step by step through it. If you do the view an example, it'll show you a similar problem to the one you're working. Very similar, probably just some different numbers. You can also go to the video option. The video option is for different examples of a teacher teaching or a scenario or whatever, but these are going to be coming straight from the textbook. They're not my videos. StatCrunch is where you would go if you're actually having to do some calculations. You wouldn't really need that one here, but it's going to look similar to Excel, but it is more statistics based, so it's a little easier to do some of the statistic things. That's something you can also use on your final exam, so if you like the StatCrunch instead of the calculator, you're welcome to use that. Tech Help is what you would probably use if you have some sort of calculator problem, like if it's something you could use a calculator on, the Tech Help would kind of show you how to use that. And then, of course, the last option here is the Ask My Instructor. That's what you could click if you want to email me. So you would just click this, and it will send me the problem that you're working on. So it'll show me this, and then you can write out whatever I don't understand this one. Okay, or whatever you want to write, or can you tell me how to do this in the calculator? But when you send that, it'll come directly to me, it'll tell me who it's from, and it'll show me what problem you're working on. And so I really like that as an instructor, because then it gives me the chance to look at the actual problem you are looking at and try to, you know, answer your question that way, instead of you just sending me an email that says, I don't understand chapter 1 homework, you know, and then I have to figure out, well, what part don't they understand, etc., right? Okay, so let's get out of this. I'll push save here, so that means it saved my one question. All right, and so when I go back here, if I go to the quiz, of course, it's not going to have the help me solve this or view an example when you're working on a quiz, but it will still have StatCrunch that you can use. The same thing with a test, so you'll still have StatCrunch on there. You just won't have the help me solve this or the view an example. All right, so our textbook finally came up here, so this is what it would look like. So you can see up here how you can highlight things if you want to. You can make notes or whatever. You can print if you would like to, like if there's certain examples that you think are helpful, you can print. As you go through here, you can navigate over here. Once you've got the textbook open, you can navigate to different chapters if you want. When we're looking in the book, let me see, I was going to show you some of the things you might look for. This right here is a you try it. So anytime they give an example, they usually have a you try it exercise. And the you try it is just where you can do a practice problem similar to the one in the book. But just so you know, the you try it's are not graded. They don't go in your grade book, and they aren't part of your homework grade. So those are really just to do on your own, just extra practice if you need it. All right, so you can see it looks just like a homework problem, but it is just going to be a practice, and so you could go through there and do that one, and then that just gives you extra help before or after you've worked on your homework. If you just feel like you need some more examples, you can go through the book and find those examples there. All right. Okay, so going back to the main page that you would see when you click from Blackboard. Of course, here's where we're going to click to go into our assignments, and we click in here for all the different homework and quizzes, right? And then some other things you'll see here, the grade book. This is where you'll go to actually see your grade, right? So you're not going to use the Blackboard grade book. You're just going to use this MyStatLab grade book. And so you can see on mine here, I've only got one that I've done, but I can review it here. Like if you have a quiz, you can go in and review and look over what you missed or what you got right. This is going to show how many of the homeworks and quizzes and tests you've completed. If you click on the show calculation here, it'll tell you what your average is in your homework, in your quizzes, and your test. So then your overall grade there, you can kind of see how it's calculated based on the weighted amounts for the homework, the quizzes, and the test. The chapter contents over here is where you can go to the e-textbook. So that's just another way to get to the e-textbook. Multimedia library is where you can go if you want to see all the different videos or things for a certain chapter. So let's say we're in chapter 3 and we're looking at 3.1 and we want to see what are all the different things I could use to learn about this section. And so there's a PowerPoint that they create for the book. There's some StatCrunch examples that you could look at there. And then these are all the videos that would be embedded in the textbook. So all the different things that you could find to help you through that section. So there's a lot of extra help in here besides the videos and lecture notes I have from my classes. There's lots of stuff that Pearson gives us through the textbook, right? The Tools for Success also has some of those things. What I like about in the Tools for Success is at the bottom they have these study cards. This here, the calculator card, that goes through all the different things we might use the calculator for when we're trying to, find the mean or the median or do regression. This goes through kind of how to do those. StatCrunch and Excel are also in here, so they kind of go through the same thing of how to, use that. So Tools for Success is where you can go to find that stuff. The study plan, again, is just extra practice. This is not for a grade, but if you feel like you need some extra help, you could go up here to just all chapters and then just click on whatever chapter you're in. If you need some more help on, applying the rules of probabilities, you can try these out, okay? So they're going to look just like the homework problems, but they are not for a grade. All right, so I just want to make sure you know those are all just extra work if you feel like you need a little extra practice. All right, and so I think that is most of MyStatLab. Back here in our Blackboard page, There is some proctored exam info. Remember that we do have a proctored final exam, so your final exam has to be proctored, which means you need to do it at a KCTCS proctored location or some other proctored location that you have okayed with me already. The person giving the test will have to have the final exam password. You'll have to be monitored as you're taking the test, so that's what a proctored exam means. And you will have to set that up yourself. You can't do it until June 1st. June 1st is when all those proctored exam times will open, and I'll send you more information on that then. But you can get some more information there if you've never taken one and you're just not really sure about it. But as always, you can send me an email if you have questions about that as well. All right, so I'm really looking forward to our summer class starting. It officially starts on Monday, but now that our Blackboard page is open, you can go ahead and start working on assignments. You can go ahead and do that Blackboard syllabus quiz or do anything in MyStatLab. Everything is open, so even though Unit 5 is not due till June 20th, you can start on it now. Everything is open for you to go ahead and get started with. All right, so if you have any questions, email me at angela.galloway@kctcs.edu, and that is the easiest way to get in contact with me since we are kind of on summer break, right? So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great semester.